Emma Collins didn't have much left. Her medals sat in a dusty box. Her prosthetic leg ached when it rained. The only thing that kept her going was Max, her German shepherd, trained in war, just like her. He wasn't just a dog. He was her shadow, her best friend, her only family. Every morning, Emma limped out of bed, and Max was already waiting by the door. Today was no different, but something was off. The knock on the door wasn't the mailman. It was louder, heavier. Emma opened the door, and two officers stood there, serious and cold. "Emma Collins?" one asked. She nodded, clutching Max's collar. "Yeah. What's this about?" "You're under arrest for the unlawful detonation of military-grade explosives in a civilian zone. You need to come with us." "What?" Emma blinked. "That's not possible. We have evidence. You can explain it in court." As the handcuffs clicked, Max barked furiously. He lunged, trying to get between Emma and the officers. "No, Max!" Emma cried, holding him back. "It's okay." "Boy, stay." The officers shoved her into the back seat. Max howled as the car drove off. His paws scratched at the road until the car disappeared. Emma sat in the courtroom weeks later, pale and shaking. Her lawyer whispered things she couldn't understand. The prosecution had grainy footage, records, and twisted truths. Emma tried to explain she was at home that night, that Max would have barked if she left, but no one cared. Her military history made her look dangerous, unstable, capable. The judge didn't hesitate. "Emma Collins, for the act of domestic terrorism, you are sentenced to death." Gasps filled the room, but Emma didn't cry. She looked down. Her lips trembled, not for herself, but for Max. "They're lying," she whispered. No one heard. In the cell, the nights were quiet. Too quiet. Emma stared at the wall, counting. Seconds. She thought of Max sleeping alone, waiting for a door that wouldn't open. Her fingers twitched for his fur. Back in the kennel, Max waited. Each sound of footsteps made his ears perk. Each door slam crushed his hope. His tail didn't wag anymore. He sat near the bars, staring at nothing, whining softly at night. "Poor guy," one kennel worker said. "He hasn't eaten in 2 days." "He's waiting for her," another replied. Dogs know when something's wrong. Emma's final appeal failed. She was alone now. Totally alone. But Max wasn't done. One stormy night, as thunder shook the sky, the gate to his cage creaked. A bolt had come loose. Max looked at it, then looked around. No one was watching. He nudged the gate. It opened. The worker on duty had fallen asleep. Max padded out quietly, the shadows hiding him. He slipped into the trees, his paws soaked in mud, his nose to the ground. Max was going to find the truth, and he would not stop. Not until the world listened. Emma sat on the edge of the hard prison bed, her hands shaking. She had survived war zones, gunfire, and bomb blasts. But this silence, this cage, it broke her in a different way. She stared at the gray wall, her thoughts racing. "They think I did it. They really think I'd hurt innocent people," she whispered to herself. Her voice cracked. The guards walked by without a glance. The court had ignored her history. Her medals meant nothing. The judge's voice still echoed in her head. Guilty. Sentenced to death by lethal injection. It didn't matter that she was innocent. It didn't matter that she'd served her country. The real culprit was still out there. But what haunted her most was Max. "Is he okay?" she whispered. "Does he think I left him?" Back in a dark kennel on the edge of town, Max lay curled in a corner. He hadn't eaten properly in days. His ears twitched at every noise, hoping it was Emma, but she never came. Max's world had changed overnight. He wasn't just a soldier's dog. He was her protector, her lifeline. And now, she was gone. One evening, as a thunderstorm rolled, in Max stood up. Something inside him snapped. His ears perked, eyes sharp. He couldn't wait anymore. With one powerful leap, he slammed into the rusted cage door. Once, twice. The latch rattled loose. And then, click. Max burst out into the rain, running through the mud like a soldier on a mission. He didn't know where Emma was, but he remembered the uniforms, the people, the last road she was taken down. Back in prison, Emma sat through another long, useless meeting with her court-appointed lawyer. "There's nothing more we can do," he said, shrugging. "There's always something," she growled. "The footage is fake. Someone framed me," he sighed. "Look, the evidence lines up. Surveillance, explosive residue, your military record." "Someone set me up," she interrupted. "I was in the woods that night training Max. We weren't anywhere near the explosion. But you were trained in demolition," he said. "That makes you look guilty." Emma turned away, her eyes filling. "They never wanted to believe me." Max, now soaked and shivering, crept through alleyways. He sniffed everything: tires, mailboxes, fences. And then he paused. His nose twitched. A familiar scent. Emma's scent. He followed it straight to the town square, and there, outside the mayor's office, Max spotted someone. Mr. Landers. A man Emma had once warned was shady. He had tried to recruit her for something illegal after her discharge. She'd said no. Loudly. Max crouched low, in the bushes. Landers was laughing with another man, waving his arms. "They actually bought the story," Landers said. "Can you believe it? I planted the stuff near her shed and boom, they went after her like she was a terrorist." Max's ears shot. "Up," the other man asked. "What if she talks?" "She's on death row. She won't be around long enough to say a word." Max growled low, barely making a sound. Then he turned and ran. Fast. He had to find someone. Anyone who'd listen. Back. In her cell, Emma couldn't sleep. She clenched a photo of Max, the corners bent and dirty. "God, please," she whispered. "Let someone find the truth." Miles away, Max broke into a fire station through a broken window. Officer Jim Carson had once trained with Emma and knew Max by name. The loud crash startled Jim. He grabbed a flashlight and ran to the back room. "Who's there?" he shouted. "Show yourself!" Max stepped out slowly, muddy and panting. He dropped a torn piece of fabric from Landers' jacket, snatched earlier in stealth, and barked twice. "Max?" Jim blinked. "Where did you... What is this?" Max barked again, this time running to the door and back, eyes pleading. Jim picked up the fabric, confused. "Where's Emma?" Max nudged the police radio on the table and whined. Jim's face changed. "You want me to call this in?" Max barked, loud and clear. Jim hesitated, then grabbed the radio. "Dispatch, this is Officer Carson. I think we've got something. I need access to the mayor's office security feeds. Now." Back in her cell, Emma heard footsteps. Heavy, rushed. The guard opened the door. "Collins, you have a visitor." She looked up, confused. "Now?" Jim walked in, holding Max on a leash. Emma's breath caught. "Max?" she choked. Max leapt into her arms, licking her face, tail wagging wildly. "I don't know how," Jim said, "but your dog may have just saved your life." Emma held Max tight, tears falling fast. "I knew you'd come for me." Jim placed the jacket scrap in front of her. "We're reopening the case." Emma's hands trembled. Max sat beside her, proud and still. She looked at Jim. "Let's finish this." And for the first time in weeks, she believed they might. Max had never been without Emma. The moment he broke free from the shelter cage, something deep in him lit up. This wasn't just instinct. It was purpose. He wasn't running wild. He was running home, back to the last person who could help Emma. He darted through alleys, weaving between cars and trash bins. His paws slapped the pavement as rain started to fall. But he didn't stop. His nose followed her trail. Her scent still lingered in places she had visited before the arrest. The town looked different now. Colder, quieter. But Max didn't care. He finally stopped in front of a rundown garage on the edge of town. The metal sign above the entrance squeaked in the wind. Max's ears perked up. He knew this place. Emma used to come here with him, back when life still made sense. He pushed through the loose side door, soaked and shivering. Inside, a man stood under the hood of an old truck, humming to himself. "Max?" the man said, his voice catching in his throat. "No freaking way!" Trey Michaels wiped his hands on a rag and stepped forward. He knelt slowly. "Is that really you, buddy?" Max barked once, sharp and urgent. Then again, pacing in a tight circle. Trey frowned. "Where's Emma? Did she send you?" Max ran toward a corner of the garage and scratched at a dusty tarp. He turned back and barked again, more desperate this time. Trey followed. "What is it, boy? You smell something?" Under the tarp was a stack of crates. Max scratched again, whining now. Trey moved the crates aside, his heart pounding. Behind them was an old army duffel, Emma's. The initials EC stitched on the side in fading thread. He crouched down and opened it. Inside were folded clothes, a photo of Emma and Max in uniform, and something small, taped beneath the lining. He peeled it away. A flash drive. "What the hell is this?" Trey muttered. Max sat beside him, tail still, eyes locked on his. Trey grabbed his laptop from the workbench and plugged the drive in. The screen lit up. A folder popped open. Operation Echo, unredacted. Inside were several video files and one marked Read First. He clicked it. Emma's voice came through the speaker. "If you're seeing this, I've been taken in. They think I betrayed my country, but I didn't. Trey, if you're watching, I need your help." Trey's hands trembled. Max sat closer. Emma's voice continued. "The last mission we ran in Kandahar, it didn't go how they said. I found something I wasn't supposed to. I downloaded the drone feed before they could wipe it. It shows what really happened." Trey opened the drone footage. File. Grainy at first, then clearer. A convoy, a group of civilians, then an explosion. But something was wrong. The missile hadn't come from outside the base. It had come from inside. Their own drone. "No," Trey whispered. "They hit them on purpose?" Emma's voice returned in a second clip. "I confronted Commander Hall the next day. He told me to keep my mouth shut. I couldn't. I tried contacting you, Trey. They got to me first." Trey stared at the screen. "That's why she was arrested." He breathed. "They framed her." Max let out a low growl, as if agreeing. Trey stood up fast. "We've got to get this to someone. Someone who can stop her execution." He started packing up the laptop and flash drive, but Max growled again, this time toward the window. Trey turned. A black SUV had pulled up outside the garage. Two men stepped out in dark coats. "Government plates," Trey whispered. "They followed you here." Max barked, loud and fierce. Okay. Trey grabbed the bag. "Back door, come on." They slipped out the rear exit and into the storm. Max led the way down back alleys and into the night. As they ran, Trey glanced down at Max. "You brought this to me. You saved her, didn't you?" Max didn't bark this time. He just ran faster. They had the proof now. But time was running out. Emma's execution date was set, and the people who framed her were willing to kill again to keep the truth buried. Total. Silence fell between them as they reached an abandoned storage shed on the outskirts of town. Trey locked the door behind them, panting. "We lay low tonight," he said, setting the laptop down. "First thing in the morning, we take this to the press. The real kind. Someone who can't be bought." Max curled up beside him, his eyes still wide, alert. Trey looked at him and whispered, "You're not just a dog, are you? You're her last soldier." Max didn't move. He just watched the door, waiting, because the mission wasn't over. Not yet. Trey's hands were shaking as the flash drive loaded. The air felt heavier, like the truth itself was pressing down on him. He hadn't slept since Max showed up at his door, wild-eyed and muddy, refusing to leave. Emma's loyal dog, standing like a ghost from their past, had led him to that buried flash drive behind her old shed. And now, as the screen flickered to life, Trey felt everything shift. The video started with static. Then came a date stamp, 9 months ago. Drone feed, Dusty Hills, a black site. Trey's chest tightened. He leaned closer as he heard Emma's voice, calm, direct. "Command, this is Echo 3. Perimeter secured. Awaiting further orders." More footage rolled. Soldiers moved through a village. Children peeked from behind broken walls. Suddenly, gunfire exploded. Screams followed. The drone zoomed in. "Command. Civilians on site. Repeat, we've got civilians in the zone. Request immediate abort." Trey gritted his teeth. Emma's voice was full of panic, but no response came. Just radio silence. Then the footage glitched. A new scene popped in. Blurry at first, but then clear enough to freeze Trey's blood. Cages. Lined up. Soldiers. Not locals, but Americans, loading terrified animals into unmarked trucks. German shepherd pups, some bleeding, others sedated. A man with a clipboard waved another forward. Trey stared. "No, this isn't real," he whispered. Emma's voice returned in the background. "This is wrong. They're not rescuing. They're stealing them. They're trafficking. I'm copying footage now. If I don't make it, someone needs to expose this. Trey paused the video. The room felt colder now. Max let out a low whine, pacing near the door. Trey ran his hands through his hair. She tried to stop them. She knew. His voice cracked. He hadn't realized how deep Emma had gotten. She wasn't just following orders. She was fighting something dark, something big. Max barked softly, nudging Trey's leg. You knew, huh? Trey whispered. You tried to show them, and they locked her away instead. He stood up fast. I have to do something. I can't let this die in a file. Trey drove all night. The next morning, he stood outside an old army buddy's house. Charlie Mendez, now a tech analyst for a veterans watchdog group. Charlie opened the door, rubbing his eyes. Trey, what the hell, man? It's 6 in the morning. Trey didn't waste time. I need your help. It's about Emma. They sat at Charlie's kitchen table. Trey slid the flash drive across. It's all on there. Footage she took. It shows a military op gone wrong, and something worse. Charlie watched the video in silence. His face went pale. When it ended, he exhaled slowly. You're telling me they locked her up for this? She found something they didn't want anyone to see, Trey said. And Max, he's been trying to tell us all along. Charlie looked at the dog lying by the door. Smart animal. He's more than that, Trey said. He's the reason I found this. Charlie nodded. I can clean the video up, get it to the right people. But we need backup. If this goes public, they'll try to shut it down fast. Trey clenched his jaw. Do what you have to. Emma doesn't belong behind bars. She belongs home, with Max. Later that night, as Trey sat alone in his truck, Max rested his head on his lap. The weight of everything hit Trey at once. She saved lives out there, Max, he whispered. And now we've got to save hers. Max licked his hand, eyes filled with something that almost looked like understanding. 3 days later, the footage was cleaned, verified, and quietly passed to a journalist known for exposing military corruption. Within hours, the video went viral. Headlines exploded. Veteran imprisoned after exposing animal trafficking ring. Trey stared at the screen in disbelief as comments poured in. People were outraged. Veterans groups demanded answers. Activists flooded social media. And somewhere, in that cold prison cell, Emma heard the noise. A guard slid a phone under her cell door. She stared at the screen, her own face frozen mid-shout. The footage she thought was lost. The truth, finally free. She dropped to her knees, whispering, Max, you did it. Tears ran down her cheeks. For the first time in months, she felt hope. Back at Trey's place, Max stood at the window, tail still, ears alert. He watched the rain, waiting. Trey stepped beside him. They're going to come for her, boy. The good ones, the kind that still believe in justice. Max wagged his tail once. He wasn't done yet. His mission wasn't over. Janie's hands hovered over her laptop keys. Max lay at her feet, ears perked, eyes sharp. Trey paced behind her, muttering. The room buzzed with urgency. They had just seen the footage. Everything Emma said was true. She didn't betray her country. She tried to expose a crime. You sure you want to do this? Trey asked. Janie didn't look up. She trusted us with this. We can't stay quiet anymore. Max let out a low bark, like he agreed. Janie took a breath and hit the Go Live button. The livestream flickered on. Her voice was steady. My name is Janie Morales, and I'm here to tell you about a hero. Her name is Emma Collins, a disabled veteran sentenced to die for crimes she didn't commit. But we have proof she was set up. She uploaded the drone footage. It took seconds for the chat to explode. What the? Is this real? Who are these soldiers? More people tuned in, hundreds, then thousands. Hashtags started trending. Psak free Emma. Justice for Max. The internet was waking up. Trey watched in awe. You're gonna blow this thing wide open. Max nudged Janie's leg. She bent down and whispered, We're doing it, boy. We're gonna save her. But their celebration was short-lived. 3 black SUVs pulled up outside. Trey's voice dropped. They found us! Grab the drive! Janie yelled. Max bolted to the back door, barking. Trey shoved the flash drive into his jacket pocket. They ran through the back exit, hearts pounding. They made it to Trey's truck. Janie jumped in, Max leapt onto her lap, and Trey peeled out. "They won't stop," Trey muttered. "They'll do whatever it takes to bury this." Max growled low, eyes locked on the side mirror. Janie's phone buzzed. A journalist from a major outlet had seen the stream. "Hello?" she answered. "This is Aaron Walsh with GBC News. Is that footage real?" "Yes. We need help. Emma's running out of time. Get to our studio. We'll protect you." Trey changed course. 20 minutes later, they reached the station. Security met them at the door. Max didn't leave Janie's side. Inside, Aaron took the flash drive. "We're verifying it now. You did the right thing." Janie looked at the countdown clock on the newsroom wall. Emma's execution was scheduled for midnight. "We don't have long," she whispered. Aaron nodded. "If this is real, the world's about to see it." As the tech team worked, Max started pacing. He barked at the window. Janie ran to him. "What is it?" A red laser dot slid across the floor. "Get down!" Trey yelled, tackling Janie just as a shot shattered the glass. Chaos erupted. Max lunged at the window, barking wildly. Security dragged them to a safe room. Janie clutched Max. "They're trying to stop the truth." But the footage had already started airing. News anchors interrupted regular programming. Breaking news. Shocking video has surfaced involving the case of veteran Emma Collins. Across the country, people watched in horror. Soldiers in the video, screams, caged animals. Emma's desperate voice begging for backup. Calls flooded into the governor's office. Protesters gathered outside the prison. Reporters demanded answers. The safe room, Janie's phone buzzed again. "Aaron," she answered. "It's out. Everyone's seen it. The governor's called an emergency hearing." Max barked twice. Trey smiled. He knows. He knows we're winning." But the clock kept ticking. "Is it enough?" Janie whispered. "Will they stop the execution in time?" Max sat still, eyes locked on her, like he was begging her not to give up. Trey placed a hand on her shoulder. "We did everything we could. Just..." Then, a call came through from the governor's office. Aaron answered. "Yes? This is GBC News." "You're kidding." "She's what?" She turned to them, eyes wide. "The governor just ordered a stay of execution. Emma's alive. They're stopping it." Janie burst into tears. "We did it. Max, we did it." Max jumped up and licked her face. Outside the station, cheers erupted from people watching the news on their phones. The internet exploded again. Only this time it was hope spreading like wildfire. Emma was alive. But Janie knew the fight wasn't over. Someone powerful wanted this buried, and they weren't going to stop. Still, for tonight, Max had won. The dog who refused to give up on his human had pulled the world to its feet. "Good boy," Trey whispered. "You just saved her life." Max lay down, chest rising slowly, his eyes watching the stars through the cracked window, like he already knew the war wasn't done. But for now, he could rest. Trey's truck screeched into the governor's parking lot. Janie leapt out, laptop in hand, while Max bolted forward, barking loud and fast. The guards at the entrance raised their hands in confusion. "We need to see the governor now," Janie shouted. "It's life or death," Max growled, not in anger, but urgency. It was like he knew the clock was ticking. Inside, Emma was counting down the final minutes of her life. Her eyes were closed, whispering to herself, "I'm not afraid. Max knows the truth. He'll find it." The guards hesitated. Then one of them said, "She's scheduled to be transferred." "In 10 minutes. Trey pushed forward. "Tell her we have proof she's innocent. Show them this video." Janie slammed the laptop open, playing the drone footage. The guard's eyes widened. "Wait here." Inside the office, the governor frowned at the screen. "Is this legit?" "It's time-stamped, sir," Janie said. "This proves Emma didn't sell intel. She tried to stop a war crime." Max sat beside her, tail still, eyes locked on the man's face. The governor leaned forward. He could feel it. This wasn't just politics. This was real. "Where's the execution order?" he asked. "It's already signed," a staff member whispered. "She's being moved now." "No," the governor said, grabbing his phone. "Get me the prison. Now!" At the prison, guards had Emma in chains. Her legs trembled. The cold floor felt like ice. But her heart wasn't racing. It was steady. She had made peace. "I didn't betray anyone," she whispered. I just told the truth. Suddenly, an officer ran in, shouting, "Stop! Governors! Orders!" Emma looked up, confused. "What?" Max burst into the hallway first, barking as if he'd waited his whole life for this moment. He ran straight to Emma, whimpering and wagging his tail. Emma dropped to her knees. "Max! You found me? Oh, buddy!" Tears ran down her cheeks. She hugged him tight, like she never wanted to let go. "You did it," she whispered. "You never gave up." Trey and Janie rushed in behind him. Trey handed over the flash drive. "They saw the footage, Emma. You're free." Emma shook her head slowly. I thought it was over." Janie smiled through tears. Max wouldn't let it be. The warden stepped back. "She's not going anywhere in chains. Unlock her." The guards nodded, hands trembling. Unlocking the cuffs. Emma stood, leaning against Max for balance. "I'm not walking out of here alone," she said. "We do this together." As they walked out of the prison, the sun hit her face. Max stayed at her side, step by step. Reporters gathered outside. Cameras flashed, but all Emma saw was Max, her soldier, her family. A young reporter asked, "Do you have anything to say to the people?" Emma looked down at Max, then up. "I had no voice. But this dog, he barked loud enough for the world to hear. Never doubt what love can do." The crowd went silent. Then a cheer broke out. Emma didn't raise her hand in victory. She gave Max one last salute, and Max, tail wagging, stood tall beside her, loyal, brave, home. If this story touched your heart, please like, share, and subscribe for more incredible animal journeys. Have you ever seen a bond so powerful it changed everything? Tell me your story in the comments below. I'd love to hear how animals have inspired you. Don't forget to hit the notification bell so you never miss a tale like Max and Emma's. Together, we can spread hope, courage, and the power of loyalty.